we're going to get right to it. We're going to keep the introductions quick. We will do the business on the social media so y'all know where we at the end. I got too many heavy hitters to make them wait. This is our time of the year. March Madness, breaking down the tournament. We're going to go through all 4 regions. We're going to give you the Final Four. We're going to tell you cutting down the nets. Quick introductions, man. Somewhere between Jackson and Starkville and maybe a little bit of Oxford. I don't know. It's my main man, Trav. Trav, what's happening?
Don't affiliate me with Oxford, man. Please. This ain't about that. But hey, man, I'm just excited. It's that time of the year. If you're a college fan, this is where you need to be, man. We're gonna talk that talk tonight, man. Let's get it, Big Shot.
Absolutely. And to the north of him, I don't know. He might have a Sean Banks jersey on one day. You might catch him in a David Vaughn another day. It's my main man, Jay Ham. Jay Ham, what's happening?
Hey, that David Vaughn joint might be possible because I'm still good with his little brother. We won a championship together back when we was in junior high school. Nevertheless, though, man, it's like Christmas around here. As I was stating before we went on, I might not watch NBA for like the next 2-3 weeks, and that's kind of gonna be on purpose. So here we are. Let's rock.
And somewhere representing Scooney Penn, Michael Red, you know what I'm saying? Lawrence Funderburk up there in the great state of Ohio. It's my main man, Jern. What's happening?
I mean, we got a couple of Indiana players to come here, and they almost won a national championship. So it just happened like that, you know. But look, Germatology, we in the house tonight. I'm ready. I'm excited for the guest. Big Shot, go ahead and take off. Let's introduce this man.
Shout out to our main man, MJ. MJ will be back later on in the week, taking care of some business right now. He'll be back with it. But when we have all this tournament action, we had to bring a guest on. And of course, when you want to talk college buckets, no better source, no better expert in my mind to talk to than our man, Greg Jones, the G2 podcast. Greg, what's happening,
I appreciate it, man. I am thankful, grateful that y'all are allowing me in y'all presence on this Monday because y'all been on it. Y'all been putting out a lot of content lately. I've been watching. I'm seeing what y'all doing over here. Content is king, and y'all out here. Hey, I see it.
Hey,
so I appreciate y'all having me on today.
And we appreciate you. We know in your line of work, this is like the busiest time, one of the busiest times of the year. So the fact that you got some time for us today, we appreciate it, fellas. Let's get right to it. We're going to start off. We're going to go about 15 minutes, folks, on each region, just give you some information, some tips, some predictions. I'm going to start off, and I know we got the bracket pulled up. We all got it pulled up. Let's start in the West. Let's start right there with Gonzaga, number 1 overall seed in the tournament. Quick fun fact for the people. 1976 was the last time Duke and Kentucky both didn't make the tournament together. What also happened in 1976, the Indiana Hoosiers went undefeated and won the national championship. The last time that's happened. Gonzaga comes into the tournament undefeated. I looked at this bracket, fellas, in G2. I'm gonna just kick it right to you, and then we'll just go around the horn. I think Gonzaga is going to get out of this bracket with not too much difficulty. Now, obviously, this is the tournament. One night, anything can happen. I don't see them having too much difficulty getting out of this bracket. Greg, what do you think, and kind of your observations on that West bracket?
Man, it's Gonzaga's real, man. Like this, and it's crazy to say this because he's had a lot of good teams. This might be Coach Mark Few's best team. And one of the reasons it might be his best team is because of the straw that steers that drink. It's a diaper dandy and a one and done in Jalen Suggs. And he's had guards that were good. He had like Williams a few years ago. Jeremy Pargo, Ronald. I mean, you know who Jeremy Pargo is, but he hasn't had a Jalen Suggs before. And when you have someone like that who he compliments everyone else, and you got other dogs around him, hey, some of the best defensive basketball minds that are in this tournament, they're gonna have their hands full because you can't stop everybody over. And then on the other side of the ball, they sit down and play defense. So, I mean, Gonzaga, man, I don't see nobody beating them in that region. Who's the 2 seed in this region?
The 2 seed is Iowa.
No.
Garza ain't got it. I ain't like he good. I like him. He reminded me of like a more fine-tuned Tyler Hansbrough. And I saw, no matter if it was in high school against Greg Oden or doing the tournament in certain games, Hansbrough was limited because of his athleticism. Garza is more athletic than him, but the game has evolved since Tyler Hansbrough was at North Carolina. And because of that, I don't, man, y'all seen Gonzaga. I mean, I don't think Iowa has enough firepower. You know, I mean, and who does Iowa play first?
Grand Canyon.
Hey, man,
Bryce Drew.
Hey, while they playing, that's a tough game. That's not an easy game for them.
Ham, you've been on Gonzaga like a lot of us have been most of the year. Is there another team in that region who at least can make it a game?
Man, hell no. It's like every time I turn on Gonzaga, man, they putting up 95, 96. They just running through it. They looking like straight up just, it's looking like a lot of NBA talent against just some dudes when they take the floor. And it's not just because of the conference that they're playing in either. We can take it back to, the early season when they slapped Kansas around, slapped some other teams around, just putting up 90, 100, whatever, whatever it is. Like G was saying, you got that engineer that's on the point, that's doing this thing, and the freshman, and he's not a freshman. He's a freshman by classification only. Dude stepped on campus and he was grown man, straight up, so, and the rest of the crew that they got with them, and Mark will keep his guys around. They play with a lot of basketball maturity, and he may be due one. This may be the one for him. I know this. He's about to make, would this be his third Final Four, second Final Four? Because he went to the title game in 17. I think this will be his second one. He do another run at it. So I like them coming out of that. I'm not going to even get started on Iowa. I talked about them yesterday on Live in the Kitchen. I'm leading them right there in the kitchen, and I'm swinging around.
Germ, Trav, so we talked about Gonzaga. Look at this region as a potential as a first round matchup, which is set, or maybe a really interesting second round matchup in the West that you look at and you say, that could be kind of interesting if it happens. Or a first round matchup, we like, that could be fun too.
I'm gonna go first.
Go ahead.
Give me Iowa and Oregon. I think Oregon is honestly the one team in this bracket right here that actually can beat just about anybody on any given day. Again, this is the most interesting part of this whole bracket aspect of things. Like I'm really looking at this Oregon team. I've got a chance to lab a lot of these teams now, and I'm gonna be honest. I think this Oregon team poses as a very potent matchup for Iowa in the second round. Go ahead, Trev.
I mean, we can say Iowa, we can say Oregon, we can say Kansas, but looking at this West, man, welcome to the Gonzaga invitation in the West, man. That's exactly what it is. Welcome to it. You just a participant. Gonzaga is the host. You just invited. I expect Gonzaga to come out this West.
Can I ask y'all a question?
Go ahead. You got it.
Here's a quick question. If this Virginia team can find a way to get to the Sweet 16, Can this be the best game that the Zags see in this bracket?
Is Malcolm Brogdon there?
Virginia better hope the folks follow our protocol. If that's the case.
I don't. And G certainly chime in. I don't think Virginia can. Well, I don't think anybody in that region is going to be able to put points up on them. It's going to be able to put enough points up. Gonzaga right now is 80 on a bad thing.
They kind of like the Nets. We talk about the Nets. They putting up 120 on everybody, and they're not at full strength. These dudes at full strength, and they putting up like 95, 96.
Yeah,
but that's why I'm asking.
Gonzaga has a different war chest. Like that's that's different over there. And it's been different the whole year. Even in game like BYU played a great game the other day against them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like Gonzaga was just like, okay, let's stop playing. And they hit a switch, and that game was over. And I'm like, you don't see that in college basketball like that. The last team I think that kind of was similar to that was the Kentucky team with Anthony Davis.
Right.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's fair.
Like they were like that. And that was that? How many years ago was that? 10, 11?
That's going
almost
on 10.
a decade ago.
Going on 10. 9 years right now.
You see what I'm saying? Like that's a lot of basketball we've seen in 9 years. And this is the first team that's like, man, they got another gear and they can hit that switch at any given moment. And it's not a switch of they're playing lazy, undisciplined, not attentive to detail. It's a switch of like, we about to suffocate you now. And it's like, we about to get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter until you just self-implode. And then we go about our business. And and I think the most impressive thing about Gonzaga is they're doing this during a pandemic year, like that they're playing like at this clip. Mm-hmm. So my question would be is, what happened to everyone else, i.e. Duke, Kentucky, whoever else you might look at it as a traditional power of blue blood? What is Gonzaga doing, or what did they do differently in the last 12 months that has them rolling like this, and everyone else is just trying to pick up the pieces?
That's a great question, because they look like they have played this way from the jump. Like we've seen teams look good for stretches, they have a little dip, then look bad, they bring it back up. Gonzaga has been on 10 from the word go. Like, and I remember that game against Kansas on Thanksgiving Day. They made Kansas look like they didn't even ball. And that's a good Kansas team. They took them to the woodshed. So before we move to the next bracket, Trav or Jerm or certainly G2, is there a first round matchup that looks interesting that you like, hey, when this comes on my True TV or TBS or whatever channel, I'm gonna tune in? Anything else in the West that looks interesting before we move?
Here, I'll read them out for everybody, so everybody can know them. We got Iowa, Grand Canyon, Oregon, VCU, Kansas, and Eastern Washington. We got USC, and they got a play-in game that they're waiting for. Virginia and Ohio, UCSB and Creighton, Oklahoma and Missouri, and then because the Zags are waiting on the play-in game.
I'm gonna tell you the one I like, and that's purely for nostalgia, and that's Oklahoma, Missouri. That's the old Big 8, Big 12, Wayman Tisdale, Anthony Peeler. That's that type of activity.
Some of that Norm Stewart, Billy Tubbs activity.
Norm Stewart, Billy Tubbs flow. That's what I like.
You said that 12, that's Cal South Beach, right?
No, yep. That's Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara. I said South Beach.
I said Cal South Beach. I like that. That's cool.
Santa Barbara. You know what?
I'm with you, though. I'm with you on that.
I'm on that game right there for the culture. Creighton got to go. McDermott daddy got to go, man. He got to go.
Check out time, G.
He got to go.
Hey, you know what time it is? Like that. I'm sure we're gonna get to them. I'm gonna bring them up right now because I can't remember if it was on my podcast or when I came on. a few months ago when we talked about Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
We brought up Georgetown. We was talking about what Georgetown means to the Black culture and what Georgetown means to basketball. And I don't know if anyone has read the book yet. I don't know if y'all really watched that game against Creighton.
I did.
But it's some things that's happening with Georgetown that is crazy to say, and we're gonna get to them down the road in the podcast. But I don't. And I talked to the staff today too. It's them my guys. They got it's something in the water that's going on with them this year.
Okay.
Because I mean they lost McClung, right?
Mm-hmm.
They lost about 4-star kids off that team last year. And for them to be rolling like they are now, it's something to that. And I'm only bringing it up because we talking about Creighton, and they smacked Creighton all around the floor the other day.
Put a 20+ piece on them folks.
Hey, they beat Creighton like they beat Creighton like they was the overall 1 seed coming in that joint, and they was the 500 club. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, yo.
And they kind of remind you a little bit of, man. They kind of got a little of the Jerry McNamara cues, and they got a little of the Cardiac Kimber with them a little bit.
Right.
And it's like Georgetown's Georgetown. So Creighton, get up out of here. Like they got to ride.
Yeah, we got to get Creighton out as soon as possible. So fellas, West region, Gonzaga all the way around to get out the region.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just asked a question for Virginia. I just asked.
No, I hear you. All right, so next bracket, let's move to the East. Let's go across the country. Well, not across the country because they all in the same place this year. To the East bracket. The East region, I like to call this region. If I remember this region, this is the Nolan Richardson invitation. Because all the homies that's coaching is in this region.
Right.
Oh man,
Ron, let everybody know who's in the region.
All right, so whoever got the bracket pulled up,
I got you. I got you.
Here. Illinois.
No, the East.
East. That's Michigan, right?
East.
Michigan in the East.
Oh,
Right?
so I was on the right
Michigan.
one.
Yeah, you was on the right
Yeah,
one.
you good. You good.
Dang, I thought I was on the wrong one.
Michigan played a play-in.
Number 8 is LSU.
That right there.
St.
That game
Bonaventure.
is tricky. That game is tricky.
Colorado,
there they go.
Georgetown, Florida State,
Bunny Colvin,
USC Greensboro. BYU got a play-in game as well. They waiting on.
Hey, is BYU the Michigan State UCLA playing game?
I think it is. I can look.
It might be.
6 and 11, right?
Yeah.
Michigan State, UCLA.
Ooh.
Okay. So I'm gonna tell you right now. Give me the play-in winner over BYU.
Hold on. Who's the last game? Who was that? No. I don't know who. Who was that?
Alabama.
Hey, this East is Hunger Games.
Yeah, it is.
They stuck Miss. They got Michigan in one now. Michigan got a nice.
Hey, I'll tell you what. If the object of the seeding is for the number 1 seed to quote unquote have the quote unquote easiest path,
they did their job.
The hardest
and
one.
the number 4 is supposed to have the hardest.
It
worked.
It worked because this is real. Like, I mean, it's like when you look at LSU, the Bonnies, Colorado, Georgetown, who's under them? Florida State, UNC Greensboro, BYU is UCLA or Michigan State, Texas. Man, that round of 32 gonna get real.
Yeah.
Man,
So the matchup that I like.
Start at the top.
The first matchup I like those, and we're gonna quick rapid fire, of course. If LSU gets past St. Bonaventure, LSU Michigan in the second round is a very interesting matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if Isaiah Livers is out or certainly not at his best. As much as I love Juwan and I love the Stewart, I would take LSU over Michigan right
We call that one the Les
okay.
Miles. That's the Les Miles Invitational right there. Michigan guy, LSU former coach. I feel where you're going with that one.
Speaking of, before we get to the Trav and Jerm get y'all on the East, we have a guest joining us from the Rocky Mountains. Obviously, he's not snowed in. Coach Les, what's happening, brother?
What's up, man? It looked like I got on just in time.
Worldwide
G2.
less.
G2, what's going on, brother?
Man, all blessings, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I couldn't miss you on here, man. I couldn't even if I tried to.
Hey, you just in time because this East, man, the East region is like East region, aka check your body parts, because it's about to be some hidden going on in this region.
Yes.
Hey, check your chin strap. Hey, it's about to be real. And okay, so let's see, Colorado, Georgetown. Georgetown wins that game. They have Florida State.
Yeah.
Man, listen. Hey, that's about to be some grown man basketball.
Hey, I want to go back to what Ronnie said. That's what I was looking at, that LSU Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And I like LSU guard play over Michigan guard play.
I do.
I just think that Javonte Smart, Cam Thomas, I just think that, and if you have no Livers, it's
tough. It's tough.
And I know Michigan defends and they connected. They connected as a unit. So that the connected teams are the teams that's successful this year. But man,
it's funny you mention that though, because I think LSU has a slight advantage at guard play, but that freshman that came out of DeMatha that's at Michigan right now,
yeah,
big fella playing some ball.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yes he is.
It's gonna be one of them memorable tournament games if it can happen. If LSU and Michigan, if they win and they have to play each other, I think this might be battle of the 32. That might be the best game out of round of 32. I don't. We have to look through the bracket, but if that matchup happens, it might be the best game. It might be the best game in that round.
Out of the round of 32, you said?
Yeah, it could be.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think there is a better game than that one, especially with the way LSU played in that conference championship game. I thought that game was a classic. That was great intensity on both sides. Big shot. I'm gonna go to the bottom of the bracket here. Y'all know how much I like this Bama team. Y'all know the vibes. Mm-hmm. I love this team so much. This is my pick to win this bracket right here. This number 2 seed right here. I just think overall, I think the guard play is there. They're making their free throws for the most part when they get to the line. And most importantly, man, some of the key stops in critical moments, situational basketball, those type of things. The way that they push the ball up the floor and they're not walking the ball up the floor in key situations. I mean, hell, the game-winning basket was a semi-transition basket after a missed free throw.
And they can shoot the cover off from deep.
You know what?
Jerm, I agree with you, but he wasn't coaching against Rick Pitino.
I was just about to say that. I wouldn't. Me personally, and my SEC team ain't in there, and that coach being the prick that he was beginning of the season, I would not mind if Slick Rick pulled one out his hat on them. I would love it.
Ham, what you got on this
I feel where Jerm going with it though, and all for the reasons that y'all listed above about Michigan. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, but I tell you what would be fun if we had an East Regional final that was a rematch from an SEC final. I'm cool with that. I'm also cool with Shaka now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to diminish the way they won the Big 12 because they was able. Hey, you couldn't follow protocol. They couldn't follow protocols. It's a cold game like that. But like G said, it's the Hunger Games. You know what I'm saying? It's straight up in that region. It's bring your elbow pads.
I need Shaka to get to at least the Elite Eight.
That would be live though. That would be acceptable.
Shaka needs that for the culture.
That is my so. Speaking of Shaka, as we do your pick for the region, Texas is my pick to win the region.
Give me Texas for the culture.
Okay.
I'll take Texas for state too, though.
Man, I'm rolling with them. Hoya Saxa, they got something going this year. I don't know what it is.
Oh, you going deep with it? Okay.
Yeah, man. Hey, over the last few weeks, it's something clicked for them. I don't know what. It's just everything just lining up for them with this being Pat, you know what I'm saying, winning the Big East tournament. The years has been since, with Coach Thompson and what he did. Pat Ewing winning as a player in the Big East, now winning as a coach in the Big East tournament. The book, which is amazing. Jesse Washington did a great job with that as well. Them my dogs, man. Like, I can't go against them right now, man. Hoya Saxa, I think they're gonna pull it out and they're gonna mess around and come out of that region.
Germ, Trav, who you got coming out the East?
Man, give me Bama, man. Them is my boys, man. Them is my boys in this region.
I'm gonna try it again, being that they my football team. I'm gonna go Florida State.
Okay.
Now
that's who you
picking.
Yeah, Les, who you got?
Hey, this is tough because it's 4 teams that I would love to see all make it. As y'all know, I don't have to really, I don't have to go into detail. But if I had to pick one, now if I could go, I mean, my affinity for Michigan goes back to 1991, 92. When I first started watching basketball, love what Georgetown is doing. I just think they fully bought into whatever Patrick is saying. He could tell them to run through a brick wall, and they's like, "Okay, do you want me to go left or right?" I think they're so connected and bought into Patrick Ewing right now. Texas want Shaka to, want him to get there. He deserves it. Florida State, man, they got the Godfather, man. But if I had to pick one of those 4, I want to see Leonard Hamilton get to the Final Four, man. I gotta go with Florida State. I want to see him get to the Final Four. You got the biggest team in college basketball. It's hard to pick. But I would love to see Leonard Hamilton get to that Final Four.
And make sure y'all write these picks down, because at the end of the show, once this show is ready to get posted, we will post the show. 94 Feet of Life is the Facebook group, Sing Facebook fan page. We will have our predictions out there for the public. So make sure y'all write these down. Now, Jeremy.
Well, hold on, Ron. Quick question for you. In the East region, is that the most black coaches in that region in the entire tournament?
Oh, yeah. That's why we called it the Nolan Richardson Invitation. Actually, no, I think this region actually might be tied.
Really?
Less than I counted.
Yeah, it's four in each.
It's 2 regions.
Because it's 13 in all.
Okay.
Yeah, we counted this last night. We'll count it again.
So is 13 black coaches in the tournament this year?
Yes.
Is that the most?
It's the most I can remember in a long time.
Long ass time if it ain't the most.
Man, I think okay.
We might do a quick count for the end of the show, but I think because I know it's 2 regions that have 4 for sure. All right, so now we in the South. the South region, number 1 seed Baylor. Jern runs through the matchups quick.
All right. We got Baylor and
There you go,
Hartford.
John.
We got North Carolina and Wisconsin, Villanova and Winthrop, Purdue, North Texas, Texas Tech and Utah State, Arkansas and Colgate, Florida, Virginia Tech, and Ohio State and Oral Roberts.
All right. So looking at this, I got Baylor, even though they've had some struggles after the COVID break. I like Baylor comfortably to get to at least the Elite Eight. And actually, I have Baylor to win this bracket. North Carolina, I wasn't impressed. Villanova may not get past Winthrop. I think Villanova just caught by injuries at the wrong time. And look at the rest of the bracket. The only team I think in the bracket that I think gives Baylor some issue is Ohio State. But I don't know if Ohio State gets out the bottom half of the bracket against Arkansas. So for me, I like Gonzaga. I like Baylor pretty comfortably in this half or in this bracket. Fellas, some thoughts on the matchups in that first, an upset you like, a matchup you like, and just let's kind of toss it around. Whoever wants to go first.
I'm with you, Big Shot. I got to roll with my guy Tang and the Baylor Bears, man. I got to roll with them, man. That's just my guy, man. The way he positioned them guys from a 2-3 zone to a matchup, man. The way they on that string defensively, and they can score like that too. I got them coming out, but they went through up in Villanova. Villanova, you just hurt at the wrong time. Your best player is hurt at the wrong time, man. I got Winthrop sneaking by them. That's a game I'm gonna pay close attention to. I'm gonna pay close attention to. And Arkansas, I'm going to pay attention to Arkansas also.
I'll jump in.
Jerm.
I'll jump in real quick. Big Shot, I agree with you on the Ohio State thing. Ohio State can beat any team here, but I do agree with you when we talk about Arkansas. Arkansas was my second consensus pick on the show that we did for the conference tournament. I thought it was going to be Alabama or Arkansas. I just like some of the small things that turn out to be good for tournament play. Those are the things that I'm here for. So give me Baylor to win this bracket. I think the best game, though, in this bracket will probably be Arkansas, Ohio State, though. If we get there.
And what you got?
Man, Scott Drew so due for a Final Four. He'd have been to like 19 Elite Eights. I mean, he straight up, he due for one, man. And this might be the best team that he's had, and I'm not going to get too far ahead into the prediction part of it, but that was a game that got postponed on my birthday, on my 40th birthday, and I was looking forward to watching that morning. Damn you, COVID. We may get it on that Monday night, that final Monday night, but I'm going to wait on that one because I'm not quite sure if we even going to get there. In this bracket, though, scroll down a little bit, Jer. Okay, that Villanova Winthrop joint, that's like you sent Villanova to the firing squad. It was kind of dirty for that one. That reminded me a lot of when Cincinnati got hit with Kenyon Martin. It's like, y'all just going to go ahead and put them in position to get put out of their misery matchup-wise, huh? Cold game, like Les said, with no blanket. A little bit more, Jerry. Was another one I saw. Chris Beard, dog. I rocks with Chris Beard. Any squad that he got, them cats going to be tough. They might blow up and do stupid stuff. They also can lock you down for like an hour or so, like they did Buffalo in the tournament 2 years ago. Y'all remember that in the second round game? They played Buffalo, and Buffalo went like a legit hour in real time without scoring a field goal. That's the craziest tournament statistic I've ever heard in my life. They went through the end of the first half, all of halftime, in like the first 10 to 12 minutes of the second half before they got a field goal. I don't shut down on Chris Beard's squad, so I get him a shot, but it's Baylor, man. Scott Drew got to get to a Final Four. He long overdue.
Greg, Les.
Can you go back up? Well, first of all, I got Baylor winning the bracket, so
Already.
let's just get that out the way. Let's just get out that way first. I can see
When it scroll,
Wisconsin. I can see Wisconsin getting North Carolina because as the saying goes, styles make fights. That's going to be, if Wisconsin can guard them, can limit the transition buckets for North Carolina. I think Wisconsin can end up with a win. And my upset is actually I'm picking two upsets in this. I don't even consider Winthrop an upset over Villanova just because Villanova's not at full strength and Winthrop is just that good. I could see North Texas beating Purdue because of one name, Javion Hamlet, the point guard at North Texas. He's like that. He's
That's
really
Memphis
like that.
kid, right?
Yep, the kid.
Yeah.
I forget what high school.
He from my hood, Les. He
Whitehaven,
from my hood, Les.
Yep. Yeah. So Javion Hamlet, he's just as good as any guard in the Big Ten. So I think he's gonna be and he's a winner. Everywhere he's been, he's won. Utah State, I can see Utah State beating Texas Tech. I think it's a great matchup for Texas Tech because Utah State, they can score the ball, they defend, and they have a guy by the name of Neemias Queta, a 7-footer. He's a junior this year, flirted with the draft after his freshman year. Last year, was going through some injuries, and he's really good. He's probably going to be a top 15 pick in the draft. He has like some. You look at him, he kind of reminds you a little bit of Mo Bamba, but I could see that happening. The rest of it, like I said, Baylor. I'm rocking with Baylor. Those are just some matchups, and that Florida Virginia Tech is going to be a really good game. That could go either way. But I got Baylor Bears coming out the South.
G2.
This region is I'm a Boilermaker through and through, and I want them to do good. I do. Hopefully they can get at least one win out of in the tournament. I think they probably can. I think that I'm going with my dog, man. Tony Stark of college basketball, Eric Musselman. Musselman's just different, man. Like how he approaches the games, X's and O's, and he has a unique skill set, talent that it's only a handful of college coaches that they just have it, where he can take kids who have NBA level talent, but might be some knuckleheads or may not really be able to fully function and pay attention. And somehow, some way, he gets them to lock in. And he's done it as an assistant at Arizona State. He did it as an assistant at LSU. He did it at the helm in Nevada. And he's only been in Arkansas now. What's this, his third year? I can't remember. Has it been 2 or 3 years he's been in Arkansas?
I think this is two.
Second year.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at what he's doing. And he got some pros on this team too.
Yeah.
My pick to come out of this region is Arkansas.
Mm.
Okay.
I like it.
Moving to the Midwest, I think this has some very fun matchups potentially. Jerm, kind of run us through the first round.
So we got Illinois, Drexler, Loyola, Chicago, Georgia Tech, Tennessee, Oregon State, Oklahoma State, Liberty, San Diego State and Syracuse, West Virginia and Morehead State, Clemson, Rutgers, and Houston and Cleveland State. Shouts out to the Vikings for getting in the tournament.
So I will say this: other than Illinois and Houston, the rest of those first round matchups could go either way. All of them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most intriguing matchup, obviously for me, for Les and I, just as kind of Illinois kids, is a potential Loyola Chicago Illinois second round. I think as for Chicago, I think that would be actually a fun matchup. I think that would be a good matchup. Illinois, though, to talk about the bracket itself, I was really impressed with Illinois this past weekend. Now, obviously, Illinois has had a great year, period. But they showed me some championship stuff in the Big Ten tournament. So I'm not picking them to win this bracket. But they are well deserving of that 1 seed. And them getting out of this bracket, I think, obviously your 1 seed is not a surprise. But I think if you had any lingering doubts about Illinois as championship material, I think the Big Ten tournament for me kind of erased that. So, fellas, looking through that matchup, I think there's a lot of tough first round matchups there. Just some of the ones, Trav, swing over to you. Some of the ones that stick out.
I want to see San Diego State. I want to see that San Diego State and Syracuse game, Kyle. Syracuse don't belong there. Syracuse don't belong. I'm sorry, Syracuse. They got in by the grace of God. Syracuse did not belong there. But in our actuality, through this whole matchup, y'all know what we got to see. We got to see Houston, and we got to see Illinois. This bracket would do us wrong if them two teams don't make it to go to the Final Four. Bottom line.
Bottom line.
Ham, this bracket, what you think?
Everything that Trav said, plus scroll down just a touch, Jordan. Everything that Trav said.
It's
straight up, I mean.
It just would not do us no justice. We all want Duke and Kentucky to meet in a championship game. This may be the second. Right now, this year.
Right.
They got to give us that matchup. They got to give it to us.
This may be as close. This may be as far as style wise. This may be as close as we can get to it. Where it's just everything is just grown. Everything is hooping. Everything is grown. And for that spot to get to the 4, it's well worth it. You know, that's the collision course I think we're getting from out of that Midwest. I think we got some good games along the way, but ultimately the 1 and the 2 is the 1 and the 2.
I am rolling with Illinois. I just think Illinois is one of the two best basketball teams in the country. And I said 2. So I just don't want to go against them. I think overall they're going to be a tough team for this Houston squad. I think they'll be a little much for Houston. So I got them as my Final Four pick. Besides Houston, I don't see too many other teams really putting up too much of a game. That's kind of it for me.
Les, Greg, thoughts, the Midwest region.
Of course, I'm rocking with Illinois. That's the home team. Illinois, no S. Have to throw that out there. I told y'all yesterday I'm spending the next 3 weeks telling people it's Illinois. So might as well get it out there for the people. I can tell you this right now. The best player in this bracket is Cade Cunningham. And if he's on the floor, Oklahoma State has a chance. They have a chance to beat anybody. And honestly, he wasn't on the floor when they went into Morgantown and beat West Virginia a few weeks ago. So Cade Cunningham plays, and I think Coach Boyden is just in a whole different. I think he's in a whole different bag right now, honestly, Like I think he just like he's confident, and like just like I said, you know, when we talked before about the most connected teams, and in this environment, you know, talking to some people today that's in Indy right now, and getting ready to be isolated and all that, like it's about who's connected, you know. And I think Oklahoma State could be a shocker. I'm going to pick Illinois anyway. Like I said, you know, when it comes to stuff like this, my fandom usually supersedes any facts that I that I have right now. But yeah, I got going Illinois. But don't be surprised at Oklahoma State. I would love to see Houston. I would love to see Houston and, you know, get to the Elite Eight. I would love to see them get to the Final Four. But I got to rock with Illinois. But don't sleep on Oklahoma State.
Man, let's see. I think I'm this Houston team for some reason reminds me of that St. Joe's, Jameer Nelson, Delonte West, with a mixture of Oklahoma when they had Hollis Price. And having Kelvin Sampson, man, he's a great coach. I think Houston gonna come out of this region. Like I think that as good as Illinois is, I think that Houston has the formula and the players, aka the ingredients, to get them up out of here. So I'm gonna roll with Houston.
Houston is my Final Four pick out of this bracket. I love the guard play. They play with a toughness. You know, as the American Athletic Conference is a grown man's conference. Like, it's not a conference for children. In Houston, I thought, you know, as a grown-up team, they play tough. They got Quentin Grimes, who at the end of the shot clock, if all else fails, Grimy will find us a shot. So I like Houston. So, fellas, before we go to the Final Four, everybody wrote their Final Four picks down. A couple of teams that you like. Now, we know in the Final Four, usually you don't get all number one seeds in the Final Four. So, somebody who's a seed, Jerry, you might want to put it back up. Let's go to each region real quick. A seed 4 or lower that you think, you know what, they could be playing in the Final Four. I'm going to start with what Les said. When you got the best player in the tournament, you got a chance. And that's Oklahoma State.
Right.
At number 4 in the Midwest. They have the clear-cut best player in the tournament. Cade Cunningham, to me, he could do a Carmelo Anthony and carry a team. I mean, Oklahoma State has other good players, but he can, as a freshman, can put a team on his back for 2 weeks. So that's one seed. So, fellas, we just kind of go around the regions real quick. A seed 4 or lower that you like.
Florida State. I think they were a 4-2, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
They were.
Yeah,
What's the freshman name? What's the freshman name? Scotty Barnes. I like that cat.
Yeah,
Scotty Barnes.
Yeah,
I got Florida State. I got Florida State taking the East, man. I got Florida State taking the East.
4 lower. Let's see who else.
That Gonzaga Invitational, man. That's just exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is in the West.
Hey, I could throw LSU in that mix too, though.
LSU was 8. That would be
That's what I'm saying.
tough 8.
That's a hell 8.
Give me
real serious 8.
Give me Oregon, LSU. Oregon or LSU is going to be my teams because we already named Oklahoma State.
G2 less, a team 4 or lower.
You go first, Greg.
Man, Hoya Saxa.
I feel
Right,
Hey.
you did say that. Hey, you did say
You
that.
called it.
Is there another one besides George?
Oh yeah, I got a couple of them. Let me see. Hoya Saxa. We got. I'm trying to think. Go to the Midwest for me. Let me see here. Let me scroll and look what we got. All right, let's see. Oh, JP. I think Georgia Tech can beat Loyola.
Now, would you like them against Illinois in the second round too?
It's gonna be a good game, and the reason I think it's gonna be a good game is because history repeats itself. Okay, was Josh on the staff of Arizona when Illinois and Arizona played?
I think
think
so.
he was.
Think so.
I think he was.
Yeah, I'll go with Tech. I go with Georgia Tech.
The hidden stories within the tournament.
And that he was. He was an assistant.
I kind of thought he was.
Time span.
Yeah.
Gee, you may have just turned that to a trivia question somehow for me. I appreciate
The hidden stories. I said this last night. The hidden stories within the tournament.
It's so many different hidden. Like to me, it might be because it's a pandemic year and we didn't have a lot of. We missed the whole tournament last year, but it's so many stories this year, and it's kind of setting it up to be like the best tournament we've seen possibly in our lifetime because of everything that's included in it.
Right.
You know, you got the amount of black coaches, you got redemption stories, and like with Rick P or even Josh, you know, you got Kay Cunningham and a situation with Oklahoma State, how they, you know, what was happening before he got there. And, you know, then Illinois is back on top. Then you have it's just so many different stories. Even though I'm picking Hoyas to get to the Final Four, what Juwan Howard has done in a short period of time at Michigan is nothing short of extraordinary, what he's done. And it's just so many different, like you said, the hidden behind the scenes that a lot of people are not familiar with, or they not paying attention to that like close of a detail to some of this stuff. It's a lot going on.
Les, who you got? A seed 4 or lower that could put it together and get to a Final Four possible.
All right. I already named Oklahoma State. I named Florida State. Can you go down to the other two brackets to the West and I think it might have been the South. Can you go to the West? Go back up. The West. Stay in the West. I mean, if anybody in the West can be Virginia, I mean, it's not like Tony Bennett hasn't been there. You know, possibly a long shot will be Oklahoma. And pretty much, I mean, between Oklahoma and Missouri, I mean, you can pick either one of them, honestly. Just because, you know, Missouri was playing some really good basketball at the beginning of the year. You know, so, you know, but it's just hard. I just don't see anybody beating Gonzaga out of this bracket. So my best guess would be Virginia. Can you go to the South? It's on the other side, I believe. Yeah, down. Yep, there we go. Go down. I don't know if I can. it's probably gonna sound like a cop-out answer because of Texas Tech. I just don't see anybody beating. It's hard to, like, the other two you can see, but I just can't see anybody beating Baylor and Gonzaga in this tournament before the Final Four. I just don't. Maybe I got, blinders on. I just don't. I don't. I don't. I don't see anybody. Go back down again, because this is tough. This is.
Yeah, I think while we look at I think the West and the South. I think if the number 1 and 2 seeds, I think are pretty clear getting to the Final Four. I think there could be a couple bumps, but I would be surprised if Gonzaga and Baylor don't get to the Final Four. I would be surprised.
A lot of busted brackets if that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I won't be doing a bracket, but I just love like seeing this and always guessing. It's just it's a ritual. But yeah, I just don't see anybody beating Baylor Gonzaga before Saturday night. That first Saturday in April.
All right. So speaking of the first Saturday in April, that brings us to the Final Four. So my Final Four is Gonzaga, Houston, Baylor, and Texas. So that's West and the East. So I have Gonzaga beating Texas in one semifinal. I have Houston beating Baylor. I have Baylor beating Houston. I have Baylor in the South Midwest. Baylor beats Houston. And then we get the matchup that we should have gotten in December. And to me, the matchup of the two clear best teams in the country, which are Gonzaga and Baylor on the first Monday of April. My pick, drum roll, I think Gonzaga finishes the deal. I think we get our first unbeaten team since '76. I think this is Mark Few's time. To Greg's point, Greg, I will echo your thought. I think this is the best team he's ever had. I think it's better than any of them. Shout out to Adam Morrison and the team he had a couple years ago. I think this is his best team, his most complete team. And I got Gonzaga beating Baylor on the first Monday of April for the whole thing. Ham. I know, Ham, you're not big on predictions, but we're going to hold your feet to the fire and make you do it anyway. Your Final Four is who? Who's playing for the whole thing and who wins?
I'm matching you with Gonzaga, Texas. And the result, Gonzaga moves on to Monday night. The only reason why I don't have the December 5th matchup coming up for April 5th is because I got Illinois taking out Baylor. Give me Gonzaga, give me Illinois. Perfection is done on April 5th. Perfection is completed. Gonzaga wraps it up. They chop the nets. They get the one shining moment. Bring back Teddy P for one shining moment. Stop playing around with that thing like that, CBS. That's one of the final traditions in sports. You got to do that right.
Trav, your Final Four, who's playing on Monday night and who's winning it?
I got the Zags coming out the West. I got FSU coming out the East. I got Baylor coming out the South. And I got Houston coming out the Midwest. Zags and Baylor. And a ride with my guy Tang and them with Baylor chopping the nets down, babe. That's just my guy, babe. Because I got to get on one of them shows. If with that man, he going to show that ring. If he get on that show and show that ring, it's a wrap. I'm done.
Hey, Les, you got to tell Tang that Trav is the president of the Tang fan club.
He already know. He already know, man.
I'm glad to tell him that, man.
Give me the Zags, Alabama, Illinois, and yes, I said with an S because I'm doing it just to make less mad now. And then also Baylor. Man, I don't care who win after this, to be honest, because I think those will be some of the best games we'll see this year. I think we'll get really 3 great games out of this. But give me the Zags, give me Illinois. I want to see perfection. We will be perfect in every aspect of the game.
Sound like Morris Day on Purple Rain. I want to see perfection.
I need perfection.
G2, the final 4 is
Zags, Hoyas, Arkansas, Swisher House. That's what I got. I think this, man, something, I don't know why, but something's telling me Swisher House would get Zags in the championship game.
Ooh.
You taking Houston to win the whole thing?
Yeah.
That'll be a fun game though.
I don't know why. I think it has a lot to do with like the ghost of Assembly Hall and how IU did Sampson. And now they need a new coach. He still should be the coach there right now. So I'm wrong with that.
You know what? When you bring the whole Indiana, when you bring the whole Indiana situation to the mix, yeah.
Man, I think that's going. But that's my final 4, and that's I'm gonna roll with Houston, man. Like it's hard because Zags, those are my guys too, as well. And I'm biased on my final 4 because I have people on within each program, and I know the work that they put in over the years to get there. Like I remember last year, everyone was saying, well, maybe Georgetown was too big for Patrick Ewing, and they didn't put into account all the stuff that was taking place with him. You know what I'm saying? Like the kids, he had to get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? The stuff that was going on. Musselman is my guy at Arkansas. I know what he does. Sampson he's a really good coach. And Mark Few is Mark Few. So I'm going to go with Houston.
Coach Les. Well, no, you can't. Are you okay? I want to put you in any type of situation. So
I know people,
right,
in a lot of the programs, that's why it's hard for me to pick against,
Worldwide less. Don't do that. Yeah. Worldwide less. Let the people know it's all right. They're gonna be okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I gotta respect the brothers 9 to 5. So I want to put them in.
It's regular. It's coaches all over, picking the final 4 and stuff. It's just one. I will say this. It's one game. It's one game that I'm not pleased with that they scheduled, and that's Houston versus Cleveland State. Is because I got 2 really good friends that are on the staff at each place, and I'm congratulating them both, and then they had a bracket, and it's just like, I'll talk to y'all after the game because I don't want to text them both good luck, like, cause that's not cool. So I'd rather not say anything, but my final 4, I got Gonzaga coming out the West, out the East. As I said, I picked Florida State just because I really, I just really respect and admire Coach Leonard Hamilton. Like what he's done for the game and black coaches, I took so much respect. Out of the South, I'm rocking with them Baylor Bears. Just because gotten to know that staff a little bit. Illinois, that's the home team, man, and I actually got somebody that's there, so it's hard. But the fan in me needs to see Gonzaga versus Baylor. The fan in me. Like, I was a fan of basketball before I ever played or even coached. So the fan in me wants Gonzaga versus Baylor. And I hope it happens. I want it to happen. And then as far as the winner, just to be continued.
And there you have it. This was a hell of a show. Fun show, man. Shout out G2 for coming through. Coach Les taking time out of his busy schedule to come through. Remember, 94 Feet of Life is the Facebook group. All capital letters, SCEN is the Facebook fan page. If you're on Twitter, SCEN_THE, and also the new 94 Feet of Life. We got our own Twitter now. 99.4 Feet of Life, the number 1 at the end, on Twitter, Instagram, THE.SCEN, and if you're watching on Twitch, THE_SCEN. We are everywhere. Big Shot Ron, Trav, Ham, Germ, special guest Coach Les, special guest G2, 94 Feet of Life, basketball for the people. The madness is here.